Surely the most densely populated region, Speyside, is the king of Scotch, or Islay with the smoky giants. They should be taking the point. Of course, we cannot forget the former whisky capital of the world, that is, Campbelltown, but we can chuck all of that. I'm here to tell you that possibly the most overlooked region is the one you should be keeping an eye on. We are going to dip it low, pick it up slow, and show you why the Lowlands is not the region it once was.
Now, I know it's gonna sound funny, but just hear me out.
So join me, Jeff Whiskey, the whiskey slapper in the shirt and shades, as we dive into the Lowlands, and if this sounds good, slap subscribe, but for now, let's crack on. Jeff Whiskey. I'm fortunate to have a lot of whiskey, the vast majority I've paid for, with the odd bottle either given as a present or even the rare review bottle. I don't think I need to play that sellout music again, do I?
Jeff is a sellout.
Yeah, cut that. Either way, I've been staring at my collection, my messy shelves behind me, and it hit me. I have a good range of Lowland whiskey. Great Lowland whiskey, in fact, which is very different to maybe only 2 years ago. So after 3 months of research, which has produced an impressive 7 bullet points to work with, you may be able to see them in the reflection of the shades? Or is it just like the weekend being blinded by the light? So let's chat and slap about what has changed in this overlooked region and why you need to pay attention. Jumping back to 1772, which is a little bit older than me, to Little Mill, Scotland's oldest distillery, or that is what their marketing says. I thought it was Highlands Glenturret, and it seems there is a hot debate about this.
Who's first? I am.
Both have been shut for different periods of time, but that tagline will always look great on a website. Little Mill was open, changed hands, closed, changed hands, open, closed, and then a fire.
Wow, what a story.
But this is not the rabbit hole for that. My brain doesn't have the capacity to hold that information. Not in this video anyway. And Little Mill is now bygone bottles and very pricey revival releases. Plenty of illicit distilling happened before this, and when you've got all the ingredients anyway, you're not just going to stick with warm ale, are you?
Here, we pour whiskey.
But then after Little Mill, you are jumping to a much more common name you see on the shelves, and pretty much my only knowledge of Lowlands whiskey early in my journey. Auchentoshan, which joined the scene in 1823. One of the distilleries that survived the whiskey apocalypse. It is best known for one thing, triple distillation, and also for me it is a bottle to this day I still mispronounce, like a lot of bottles, and I always want to say Auchentoshan.
This is the way we talk in Tucson, Arizona.
So let's quickly get this poured. As far as whiskey flavours by region, this fits the stereotypes. Very light, very floral. It's a bit grassy. You've got little bits of toffee, a little bit of like mandarin, satsuma, orangey thingy. And overall, it's just super easy drinking. There's a bit of this like metallic tang. Not really for me. And I think it's fair to say this is not really a brand which gets enthusiasts' tongues wagging.
It's not for nerds at all.
The common bottle being this, the I can do this. The common bottle being this, the Auchentoshan. The common bottle being this, the Auchentoshan American Oak. There's the 3 wood, a pretty banging 47% ABV bartender's malt, as well as the Sauvignon Blanc finish from Amazon, which is an exclusive which yo-yos in price and was built to be a frozen drink. But don't let that give you the chills.
All right, everyone, chill.
Overall, their releases aren't bad, a bit basic and generic, but for me personally, was another stepping stone on my whiskey journey. At that point, maybe about 5 years ago now, that was all I knew of the Lowlands. Things like Bladnoch or Elsa Bay wasn't even on my radar, and in my shame, they're still not bottles I've really explored.
Shame. 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 Shame.
But this is bringing me to the reason why I wanted to do this video. There's most certainly a Lowlands Revival, and I'm going to kick it off with this beauty from Kingsbarn. The distillery was founded in 2024, with this bottle being the dream to dram, an absolute favourite of mine, which sadly a year and a half ago now I think, it was retired. It's been replaced by the Ducourt release, as well as they have a pretty impressive range out there, including Coal Town, which is matured in peated casks, as well as a new release which is their oldest whiskey to date. Somewhere. This little beauty, which you probably can't even see, it's the 2024 Distillery Reserve, which is the oldest release to date and is just very Kingsbarn-y, though it certainly was the dreamed dram which really awoke a fire and which stayed in my head for about 2 years.
It stays with you for years.
I tried a sample in a pour and sip box, and then it just took me so long to get my hands on a bottle, but it's just a delight. Super green, soft nose. You've got some stereotypical like lowland notes. You've got that dry grass, crispy pears. I'm getting like bags of white sugar sweets right now. Yeah, like plenty of sweet fruits, shortbread, and it's just a banger. The taste is just full of bananas, strawberry jam tarts dipped in milky tea. I will stand on that bridge forever. Pastries, chocolate, and it's just so good. It's got a strong old, quite almost oaky, slightly tannic, and just a hearty old finish. So for me, it's a real lowland powerhouse which still kind of fits in the clump of region-based notes. I did do a region video if you're wanting more of an overview. The link's up there or somewhere. I still don't get YouTube, but now to sidestep from Fife to Glasgow, let's talk about another 2020. Like, come on, that's one of the few bullet points I've got. It is a 2014 distillery and one that just gets better and better. Glasgow Distillery with their 1770 range. My first experience was a bottle from the Somerton Club back in 2021. Hopefully I took a picture of it. In truth, it was a really solid whiskey which I probably didn't appreciate enough at the time. That 50cl bottle size was a little bit of a turn off.
I'm a grower, not a shower.
But the hugest props to them, as once they started growing and getting it all running, they have now gone to the full 70cl without increasing the price, which is just unheard of. Like, what is the opposite of shrinkflation? I really like their Malt Riot blend, but let's focus on the big guns here. The original and peated are great, but the limited editions are just next level. The lightly peated cognac cask is like melted Werther's original sweets on a fire. And their latest releases, the peated Marsala, the peated Madeira, their Wild, and the peated Isla cask finish truly deserves all the praise it is getting right now. I'm gonna have to pour a dram of it. Cheers Seb for sending me these samples. Play that music.
Jeff is a sellout.
You've got that medicinal peach straight off the bat. Lafroigy, Ardbeggy, just does things for me.
You need a tissue or something?
You've got so many fruits. Slightly, I want to say almost Lagavulin-y, where it's got that green apples. I often find green apples in Lagavulin, but I'm just throwing out island names. That peat is there, the medicinal, the iodine, whatever all those terms are. Hospital bathroom, you know the jazz. Brown sugar, liquid caramel, toffee pennies, chocolate, blackberries. I could go on and on. Oh, and it sings. There's a punch, but what's the ABV? So only a friendly 57.3%. No ethanol at all, just pure flavour punch. Out of the 3 new ones, this is the Isla cask is just my favourite. Glasgow truly sings with their peated range, and none of them show it better. Really not organised. Then this beauty. The No Nonsense Special, a cask strength peated Pedro Jimenez sherry cask. Only 80 bottles released, and this is just amazing. I'm going to have to get another glass. It's a wild colour for 5 years old. You just got smoked blackcurrants, fire jam. It's just a real beast. A bit chalky. This is 60.1% ABV, and again, there is the heat, but it just sings so beautifully at that heat. And just a real gut punch of flavour. And it's a whiskey that kind of straight away hits you full force. And then it kind of lures you back down and it gets softer, more with the red fruits, and then somehow it just smacks you again. And obviously I did pay my own money for this, but I kind of know Vin. I've roped him into the English Whisky Awards. Vote now. And not to blow any peated PX smoke up his backside, it is a banger. I think I'm going to have to do a full review on it at one point. As I said, only 80 bottles and it's sold out, but I'm sure Glasgow will be doing similar again.
Give to people what they want.
I'm now surrounded by glasses. It's a good video. Returning to that Kingsbarn, still holds up. I think it's fair to say this is quite a departure from the chains of gentle lowland notes, and it's all the more amazing for it. Now, why I'm just as pumped about the future of lowland distilleries as the present, let's talk about the newest kid on the block, Lochlea. Only founded in 2018, This is where whiskey meets agriculture in the most authentic way. A Clarkson's farm with 2 Calebs. It is proper farm to bottle. They're doing everything right. Awesome Calyx friendly bottles, which for us whiskey nerds can be vital. They've got a huge range of hitting different price points and flavours. Their R barley entry is fantastic, and they also do a wild cask strength range, which I'm sure I've mentioned is the birth of the whole whiskey goose star thing when I did a blind tasting with Roy.
I am such a goose.
I really do lean into that goose, don't I? Then there's also the seasonal releases like this one. It's an all natural release of just a medley of maturation. This one includes bourbon, port and sherry casks. The third crop of the harvest edition. It's just like summer fruits in a whiskey. It's just so damn good, and probably the bottle I've returned the most to over the last couple of months. Go on then, I'll get another glass.
Well, you sounded convincing to me.
It is slim pickings because I really need to do some washing up. Oh, there's a real like muddy note on that. Got to get that slap in. I love when you get it on your hands. Yeah, fruity, vibrant, a bit earthy, creamy, funky, strawberries, pims, cream, funky, tangy. Yeah, that's just dangerously good and dangerously easy. And again, it's still punching through those crazy high ABV peated releases. And I feel this is enough evidence for why the Lowlands are just crushing it right now. God, frazzles. With a lot of the whiskey world feeling a bit doom and gloom with price rises, bankruptcy and all that jazz, I really wanted to do an upbeat focus on the joy of whiskey and why we love it. So I know it's all very praisey, and there's nothing wrong with that. We love whiskey. Let me know your thoughts on the current state of Lowland whiskey. A big thanks to the channel members, the Bottle Slap Club, who support me and my videos. Today's mentioned members go to Danny Keenan, Jolly Rover and MultiCasking. And with that, grateful to have you all here. All the best and cheers to the next one.